All right, MYEFO's handed down. Let's cut through all the political spin and go straight to independent economist Chris Richardson, who loves a theme to help us, the non-economists, understand all these numbers. Chris, what's your theme in 30 seconds today of what we've seen?
The luck for Australia is starting to run out. It's been magnificent. It has delivered the budget a fortune, but those days are slowly slipping away, and that receding tide leaving the evidence of the permanent decisions we've made off the back of the temporary good luck.
So when we think of that temporary good luck, these were the stats you had, which I thought were instructive. So 365 billion extra dollars came in during, we'll call them the glory years. Labor spent a net 60 billion more, so 104 billion in spending, 44 billion in savings. That's fairly responsible, would you say? Because this is one of the key economic arguments going between Jim Chalmers and Angus Taylor. Is that a fairly responsible approach just on the extra money that was coming in, or are you saying there was more opportunity there?
Absolutely more opportunity. So the question is, what yardstick should you use to judge it by? And the government, understandably, are saying, compared to politicians of the past, Howard and Costello had a run of luck. Compared to the past, they have been more careful with the money. That's true, but that's not the right yardstick, and it's not the one that history will remember. Good luck is something you save. For budget purposes, you trouser it, because bad luck eventually arrives. And that is the risk, that we have added more weight onto the budget during times when extra money flowed in. What the hell are we going to do when that tide turns? And where the extra money come from compared to what Treasury thought? Three things. A war pushed up the price of stuff we sell to the world. That aided the tax take. Lots of migration meant extra people to tax, and inflation takes money from families and gives it to the taxman.
Okay, and in terms of the structural deficit, are we in a situation where that slowly addresses itself through growth? Because we have, apparently in 10 years, we would have, and it's a situation normal, albeit very small, surplus. Where would you describe the structural deficit and where that's at, which takes out all the bad luck, all the good luck?
When you take out all the bad luck, all the good luck, and yes, it is very much hidden in the budget, I think, page 89, you'll find the chart that shows taking out the bad luck. We recently had the bad luck of COVID. We had an economy that was, a budget that was in relatively good shape, a small structural surplus that's disappeared to a deficit. In a decade, the thought is we would get the surplus back again. To be clear, that's much better than other countries have done. You know, the position on deficits and debt in the US is truly diabolical. So Australia can stand proud. We just could have and should have done better.
And then I guess if we're thinking about what happened just before Labor came in, so the coalition didn't manage the surplus, you know, back in black mugs and all that sort of stuff, COVID and the bushfires. The last budget handed down by the coalition didn't have savings, did it? And that was, I guess, what often happens at the end of a government. So will that be the test as well for the coalition? Because they're talking a big game on savings. They didn't do it in their last budget last time. They've got, I guess, the carrot of maybe winning an election if they think they can do that. Will they have the discipline they talk about?
Well, the most clear-cut coalition policy we've got is to generate power for Australian households by getting $100 notes and smoking them, which is the essence of the giant nationalisation suggestion around nuclear power. Nuclear is stunning technology and there is great potential there, but Australia starts so far behind the eight ball that would be a very expensive solution. So great if we can have, you know, both sides of politics being more honest with Australians about the cost of the future, whether it's the energy transition or NDIS, which we're still juggling, or AUKUS and defence. It looks like a more dangerous world out there. Those are big challenges, but our political parties aren't challenging us around the necessary answers.
Now, I always appreciate someone who sticks their neck out. You had a worse prediction for this financial year in terms of the budget outcome. So it's a few billion, I think, is it maybe 10 billion better off? What's behind that from what you've read today?
So the government is expecting better news on a few taxes than I am. They're actually expecting worse on the company tax take this year, but better in particular on personal taxes. And the government, of course, has the benefit of knowing what those taxes have done in recent weeks, that, you know, information that is not yet publicly available. But we've certainly got a lot more people and we've got a lot more jobs, even allowing for a lot more people. So the optimism there is perhaps more than offsetting the bad news on company tax.
Chris Richardson, always appreciate your time when it comes to all things budget. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.